Everybody, welcome to another episode of the Truth Report. I am in East Vancouver, here in an empty parking lot in the PNE, the Pacific National Exhibition, and parking lot's empty right now. Empty because the PNE hasn't started yet. It starts in August, but chances of it actually opening are pretty much zero because of this fake epidemic, pandemic, scamdemic, whatever you want to call it. And that's okay, I guess, because if you want a virtue signal, you have to be willing as a corporation to lose millions of dollars, willing as a city to lose millions of dollars, and willing as an individual to lose thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on how much you make. It's important to show that you care. It's important to show that you're on board with this whole hoax, even if you don't really think it's real subconsciously. Your exterior image is very important. You have to show everybody that you're part of the crowd and you're not a free thinker, because free thinking is very negative. Free thinking is, in fact, frowned upon in this day and age, 2020, when you're not allowed to ask questions. Asking questions basically is wrong. If you ask questions, you are not a good person. You're selfish, and so forth. So don't ask questions, just follow. Let's keep playing the charade. And as you can see around me, pretty much no cars. There's a rig over there. But that's how it works. We all have to keep acquiescing until the whole economy collapses. We all have to keep acquiescing until we have no jobs and no money in the bank. That doesn't matter. What matters is how you're perceived by your friends and family and people you don't even fucking know. That's what matters. It doesn't matter if your kids can go to school without wearing a mask. It doesn't matter if you don't have enough money to go out for dinner or to pay your mortgage. That doesn't matter. You have to be a person who follows orders. You need to be an order follower. This is 2020, and if you don't play ball, you'll be ostracized. You'll be shunned by everybody you know, made fun of. You'll be given weird looks by people on the street if you don't follow orders with wearing masks. And generally, overall, you will be considered a pariah and someone who should be living underneath a bridge in a far-off destination. This is where we are in 2020. And I know a lot of you folks out there are on board with me, but some of the folks like to be in the crowd. I want to be as far away from the fucking crowd as I can, because if history has taught us any lesson, following the crowd blindly will lead you nowhere positive. And that's all I'm going to say on that little topic right now. Now we'll get into recent events in the news. The first one being all these statues getting pulled down across the world. Most importantly in the United States and Canada. Some of them have been defaced. I'm not sure if any statues have been taken down here. But in any case, leftists, Antifa types are looking at these statues while drooling. They love it. They want to take down every statue they possibly can. And it's history. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. It's just history. And if you break up those words, history, his story. So all it is someone's story of the past. That's all it is. It's a representation of someone's view of the past. His story changed into history over the years. Let me just pause this, too much noise and shit here. So they've been able to take down a lot of different statues all across the United States. And now in Philadelphia, they're eyeing the Columbus statue in Marconi Plaza, which is located in South Philadelphia. If you don't know anything about South Philadelphia, let me give you a real quick history lesson. This has been the, oh, look over here, ACAB, all cops are bastards. No one's immune from their garbage. But anyways, So back to Philadelphia, they're basically stating that this statue has to come down because, of course, Columbus is another bad man. He's another bad man. But here, the problem being is that it's located in South Philadelphia. If you don't know anything about South Philly, this is a stronghold, it has been, of Italian Americans and Americans of Italian descent for probably the last 100 years. And it's not going anywhere. They've been there for generations. They'll continue being there for generations. They're not leaving. This is where Rocky was filmed. If you know about the Rocky movies, Rocky Balboa was from South Philly. So the city of Philadelphia, I guess, from pressure is trying to take down the statue of Columbus. But if you don't know anything about Italians, they're pretty tough people. They're stubborn, and they don't really give a shit about political correctness. They don't really care about nonsense BS. They will fight for their neighborhoods, and they'll fight for ridiculous pressure from retarded Antifa type, left-wing, black dressed, not black as in race, but black dressed, left-wing, skinny, white donkeys.
Tonight at 11, statue standoff. Protesters chanting "Kenny must go" outside a home in South Philadelphia. They're fighting the potential removal of the Christopher Columbus statue at Marconi Plaza. Good evening.
Those people will get their asses kicked there. But if the city's hell-bent on taking down the statue of Columbus, we'll have to see what happens with that. But here's the thing, erasing history, taking down statues, how the fuck is that going to help your life? If you're a loser, if you're already a loser, taking down a statue is not going to do anything for your pathetic life. If you want to feel better about yourself, go out and do something productive. Go work out. Go get a job. Get a girlfriend. Get married. Do something that you're not supposed to do. All these things, getting a family, getting married, and taking care of yourself, are pretty much shunned upon from the left. So that's what you do. You do the opposite of the left. So these lefty libtard Antifa types want the statue taken down. But at the end of the day, even if they take down that statue, they'll keep looking for more and more things to change. They've already gotten rid of Aunt Jemima, Ben's Rice, Miss Butterworth. I think it's, is that a pancake mix or some shit? That's supposed to be on the chopping block as well. And the beat goes on and on and on. It's not a good beat, but it is a beat. These idiots keep looking at shit to take down and remove like it's going to help them. You're not going to help anybody by taking the stuff down, and that's just the way it is. But of course, you have nothing else going on in your pathetic lives that you feel that it's your duty to go and destroy everything in your path. And at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. Does it affect me if they take down the statue? Not really. I just think it's pretty stupid that these morons are trying to change history. History is history, and that's just the way it is. We're supposed to learn from history, and by taking it down, you're basically erasing history. Is that their goal? I really don't know. But whatever, it's just pathetic. And of course it's going to continue because governments, politicians, corporate media, and a lot of the population are all on board with this. They're all scared to say how they feel because they don't want to be called racist. They don't want to be called this, and they don't want to be called that. So they pretty much keep their mouth shut. Even if they don't agree, just by being quiet, you are agreeing. So you should start speaking up. But of course, everyone out here is a pussy, and they're scared to say anything. Most people are even scared to hit the like button on Facebook if they agree with something, for fear of what might happen if one of their friends finds out that they hit the like button on a conservative post, or they hit the like button on something that their friends might not agree with. A lot of people are a bunch of chicken shits. A lot of people have two different personalities. They have what I call their internet personality, how they're perceived on the internet and how they're perceived out in the general population. then they have their real personality, which they hide from everybody, and they probably just let loose a little bit when they're at home behind closed doors, behind the blinds being drawn, behind the windows being closed, everything like that. They don't want their real views being told out in the general population, because they would be considered this and they would be considered that. Even though they know it's all BS, they still are scared to vent or show how they feel. Bunch of wimps, bunch of chicken shits. And like I said before, a lot of you people, or actually all of you people, are a big part of the problem. You don't say how you feel, even though you know it's right, even though you know it's not this, you know it's not that. It's just common sense. You still won't state it because you're scared of losing your jobs. You're scared of offending people, this and that. Keep doing that. Keep being quiet and see where we are in 10 years from now. Keep going. Keep doing it and see exactly where we'll be in 10 years from now. Where were we 10 years ago? Where are we now? Where the hell do you think we're going to be in 10 years? Another thing I saw, news article, they're talking about mandatory face masks in many different states. One particular news article that caught my eye was regarding Oregon, where it says, maybe I wrote it down here, black people are exempt from wearing face masks because of what they call racial profiling. So, this is not going to be a racist rant. I'm not racist. I do have common sense. Now let's look at this thing logically. I know it's hard for a lot of people to be logical, but you can try. Now, if this COVID-19, if all you idiots out there believe this is such a super deadly disease that you're going to die from it, and if you idiots are all on board with wearing masks because it saves lives, how do you feel about this, where African American people are exempt from wearing masks because of racial profiling? Basically stating that if they go into a Whole Foods or a Costco or a Smith's or whatever, Trader Joe's, that they will be looked at a little bit strange. Somebody might be thinking they're going to rob the place. Somebody might think they're going to steal something. So they're allowed not to wear masks in these establishments just because of the fact that they're black. So that's okay. So let's look at the hypocrisy of that for a minute. Now, how does it make sense? If this disease is so deadly, it's back there. If all you chicken shits who think this disease is so deadly, don't you think that everybody should be required to wear a mask? Not based on race, not based on age, not based on location. Everybody should be wearing this mask to flatten the curve, right? To flatten that stupid curve. But now it's okay. Now it's okay to do reverse racism. Now it's okay to do reverse racism. It's okay to tell white people that you guys have to wear a mask to flatten the curve of COVID-19. But hey, if you're black, you don't have to worry about that, because we know there's racial profiling, and people might consider you some kind of criminal trying to rob Costco or Trader Joe's or Whole Foods or whatever the hell stupid store they think you're going to rob. So once again, the political correctness has taken political correctness is allowed in this situation because we don't want to offend black people, even though it might result in people dying. We don't want to do that. It's going to go over here. It's too bloody noisy. So the bottom line is, and this is coming from your beloved mainstream news outlet that you guys love to use as your trusted sources. So basically they're telling us that white man wear a mask, black man don't. White man is bad because they think black man is racist. So once again, it's our fault. But like I said, if this disease is so fucking deadly and it's a mandatory mask, bylaw, law, requirement, suggestion, whatever the hell you want to call it, if it's mandatory, why is it mandatory only for one group of people? Once again, The BS continues. Political correctness is destroying the world with nonsense. But no one says anything. Shh. I don't want to be called a racist. You're not racist, though. You're just pointing out that if COVID-19 is so deadly like the media tells us, then we should be doing everything to counter everything that we can to counter that. But political correctness supersedes a deadly disease. When in reality, it's not a deadly disease, it's all BS. And we all know that, don't we? Well, some of us who have a little bit of a brain. And of course, since riot season is now over, since a lot of the riots and all the mayhem from the George Floyd protests have subsided, people kind of got bored of wrecking stuff because everyone has the attention span of a goldfish. They could only watch 1-minute TikTok videos, or on Twitter, you can watch 2 minutes and 20 seconds of videos on Twitter. Everyone has a very short attention span. That means that now things need to change. No more George Floyd protests. Those are out. What's in now is COVID-19. COVID-19.
COVID-19. COVID-19. COVID-19. COVID-19. I'm blue.
That's right. COVID-19 is back in style, back in the news. And we all knew that was going to happen. A little bit early, I thought they'd be talking about wave 2 late August, early September, but no. There's not much else to talk about. The riot season's over. Rioting and burning shit down is getting boring. And now we're back talking about COVID-19. And they're talking about the cases are astronomical. They're rising to the highest they've ever been and all this stuff. And me being the person who doesn't trust the news too much, doesn't really like to follow blindly. I know I'm a bad person for questioning things. I should just follow the official narrative and shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
But unfortunately for me, I just can't do that. I can't close my mind when I see something that doesn't make sense, unlike other people who just choose to ignore facts. And they like fiction. People like fiction. They like fictitious stories. Give them a nice warm and fuzzy feeling, especially if they read fictitious stories in the news. They love it. Oh, they love it. And even if they find out that the story was nonfiction, they find out everything they've been told a lie, it was a lie or is a lie, they will fight till the death to not admit the truth. Doesn't matter what it is, they will fight and fight and fight, and that's just the way it is. So now all of a sudden, riot season's over, and we are talking about, oh my gosh, good workout today. We're talking about COVID-19. Cases are way up now. Cases are way up. And the reason the cases are way up, guys, is because they're testing way more people. And you're probably thinking, so what? There's a lot more corona cases. Well, we always kind of knew there was going to be way more corona cases, didn't we, idiots? For the simple reason that they never really test, specifically in BC, they only tested like, I don't even know, under 10% of the population. So there's no way in hell that we could get an overall real look at how many people had COVID-19. And now you're thinking, get on with the story, you're boring me. Okay, here's the thing. Now, if there's way more cases, which I'm not denying that there aren't, it's because they're testing way more people. But if you look at the death rates from COVID-19 have been going down dramatically since about early, mid-April or May. I'm not sure which one, I kind of forgot. I'll put it here in the in the video. You'll see that though. I always like to put evidence. Don't want to talk out of my ass for nothing. So, this means that the death rate is even less than 0.25%. Because more people have it, but less people are dying. Meaning, yes, there's way more people that actually have it, and I knew that all along, obviously. Common sense. But then if you take into account the amount of people dying, which from their own numbers shows that the death rate is going down, well, if we have more cases and less deaths, it tells me one thing. This whole thing, like I said 1,000 times, is an overblown flu. It's nothing more than a hoax designed to crash the economy and create and implement what the people in power love to call their new normal. They want to implement their new normal, and this is a fantastic excuse, even though it's all built on lies. That's okay, because no one looks at facts anymore. Everyone just follows trusted sources, which really are untrusted sources, but that's okay. That doesn't matter. So once again, we knew this wave 2 would happen. I've been talking about it pretty much as soon as wave 1 came out. But now it's basically built on more BS. Built on more lies. Built on more garbage. Sure, the cases are going up, and they're going to talk about that for a long time. Cases going up, highest they've ever been. Highest they've ever been. But at the end of the day, the number to look at is the death rate. And if less people are dying, even though most people who are dying were over 80 and they lived in care homes, once again, this should just tell you that this is all hoax. It's all fake. It's all overblown garbage. And that's all I'm going to say. Go look at the numbers. Stop believing your news. Stop trusting your trusted sources, because your trusted sources are actually untrusted. They should be untrusted sources, because they bullshit and lie and manipulate everything constantly to get you to think and look at the world in a certain perspective. That's all they're trying to do. Anyways, guys, that's about it. Hit the like button. My phone's gonna die here. Hit subscribe and share this video on social media. Wake up.
Wake up. Wake up.
Watching it end again and again. I feel it in waves you follow me, drifting to places I should leave. So close to the edge of something so perfect. We were too scared to take the leap. I'm missing the way we used to be. Let me go.
$170 people, almost all with underlying issues, died in 3 months from COVID-19, and the state of emergency continues. 170 died from fentanyl in BC just in May 2020. The hoax continues because the sheeple still can't think for themselves. Our country and world will be destroyed because of good people who go along with this nonsense, wearing silly masks and trusting their officials. Speak up and say something. Stop being such a pussy. When you figure it all out, it will be too late. P.S. The conspiracy theorists were right all along, and they warned you for years and years. People laughed and called us tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists. We saw through all of it, but we were ignored. I'm not sure how much more proof you need, but time is ticking. The end of the road is closer than you think. Sincerely, someone who cares.